Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha. At first, I offer my humble prayers in the lotus feet of Lord Shri Radha Krishna. I also extend warm greetings and respect to all of you. Today, from the scripture Shri Vivekcudamani, composed by Adi Shri Sankaracarya ji, we will be listening chapter number 8. The holy words from the scripture are as follows. The self-effulgent Atman, which is distinct from the five sheets, the witness of the three states, the real, the changeless, the untainted, the everlasting bliss, is to be realized by the wise man as his own self. The disciple question. After these five sheets have been eliminated as unreal, I find nothing. O Master, in this universe but a void, the absence of everything, what entity is there left, forsooth, with which the wise knower of the self should realize this identity? The Guru answered, Thou hast rightly said, O learned man, thou art clever indeed in discrimination, that by which all those modifications such as egoism, as well as their subsequent absence during deep sleep, are perceived, but which itself is not perceived, know thou that Atman, the knower, through the sharpest intellect. That which is perceived by something else has for its witness the latter. When there is no agent to perceive a thing, we cannot speak of it as having been perceived at all. This Atman is a self-cognized entity because it is cognized by itself. Hence, the individual soul is itself and directly the Supreme Brahman and nothing else. That which clearly manifests itself in the state of wakefulness, dream and profound sleep, which is inwardly perceived in the mind in various forms as an unbroken series of egoistic impressions, which witnesses the egoism, the buddhi and the like, which are of diverse forms and modification, and which makes itself felt as the existence knowledge, bliss absolute. Know thou this Atman, thy own self, within the heart. Seeing the reflection of the sun mirrored in the water of a jar, the fool thinks it is the sun itself. Similarly, the stupid man, through delusion, identifies himself with the reflection of the chitta caught in the buddhi, which is its superimposition. Just as the wise man leaves aside the jar, the water, and the reflection of the sun in it, and sees the self-luminous sun, which illumines these three and is independent of them. Similarly, discarding the body, the buddhi and the reflection of the chitta in it, and realizing the witness, the self, the knowledge absolute, the cause of the manifestation of everything, which is hidden in the recesses of the buddhi, is distinct from the gross and subtle, eternal, omnipresent, all-pervading and extremely subtle, and which has neither interior nor exterior, and is identical with the oneself. Fully realizing this true nature of oneself, one becomes free from sin, taint, death and grief, and becomes the embodiment of bliss. Illumined himself, he is afraid of none. For a seeker after liberation, there is no other way to the breaking of the bonds of transmigration than the realization of the truth of one's own self. The realization of one's identity with Brahman is the cause of liberation from the bonds of samsara, by means of which the wise man attains Brahman, the one without a second, the bliss absolute. Once having realized Brahman, one no longer returns to the realm of transmigration. Therefore, one must fully realize one's identity with Brahman. Brahman is existence, knowledge, infinity, pure, supreme, self-existence, eternal and indivisible, bliss. Not different from the individual soul and devoid of interior or exterior. It is triumphant. It is the supreme oneness which alone is real, since there is nothing else but the self. Verily, there remains no other independent entity in the state of realization of the highest truth. All this universe, which through ignorance appears as of diverse form, is nothing else but Brahman, which is absolutely free from all limitations of human thought. A jar, though a modification of clay, is not different from it. Everywhere the jar is essentially the same as the clay. Why then call it as a jar? It is fictitious, a fancied name merely. None can demonstrate that the essence of a jar is something other than the clay of which it is made of. Hence, the jar is merely imagined as through delusion, and the component clay alone is the abiding reality in respect of it. Similarly, the whole universe, being the effect of the real Brahman, is in reality nothing but Brahman. Its essence is that, and it does not exist apart from it. He who says it does is still under delusion. He babbles like one asleep. This universe is verily Brahman, such is the august pronouncement of the Atharvaveda. Therefore, this universe is nothing but Brahman, for that which is superimposed has no separate existence from its substratum. If the universe as it is be real, there would be no cessation of the dualistic element. The scriptures would be falsified, and the Lord Himself would be guilty of an untruth. None of these three is considered either desirable or wholesome by the noble-minded. The Lord, who knows the secret of all things, has supported His view in the words, "But I am not in them, nor are the beings in me." If the universe be true, let it then be perceived in the state of deep sleep also. As it is not at all perceived, it must be unreal and false like dreams. Therefore, the universe does not exist apart from the Supreme Self, and the perception of its separateness is false like the qualities. Has a superimposed attribute any meaning apart from its substratum? It is the substratum which appears like that through delusion. Whatever a deluded man perceives through mistakes is Brahman, and Brahman alone. The silver is nothing but the mother of pearl. It is Brahman which is always considered as this universe, whereas that which is superimposed on the Brahman, namely the universe, is merely a name. Hence, whatever is manifested, namely this universe, is the Supreme Brahman itself, the real, the one without a second, pure, the essence of knowledge, taintless, serene, devoid of beginning and end, beyond activity, the essence of bliss absolute, transcending all the diversities created by Maya or nascence, eternal, ever beyond the reach of pain, indivisible, immeasurable, formless, undifferentiated, nameless, immutable, self-luminous. Sages realize the supreme truth, Brahman, in which there is no differentiation of knower, knowledge and known, which is infinite, transcendent, and the essence of knowledge absolute, which can be neither thrown away nor taken up, which is beyond the reach of mind and speech, immeasurable, without beginning and end, the whole one's very self and surpassing glory. Thus concludes chapter number 8 from the scripture Vivekcudamani. Thank you for listening. Shri Radha Krishnaya Namo Namaha.